That if you get invited to go to the Thai kitchen, to the Thai mess rather, at their detachment, you always take that invitation. It is probably the best Thai meal you'll ever have.
There are so many elements to exercise pitch black, from the air and of course on the ground, and this time for the first time we've got an Italian aircraft carrier, the Cavour, who've brought along some of the aircraft that we will see a little bit later on. It's amazing to think that we've got, you know, the Italian Navy that wants to be part of what predominantly is an air exercise.
Yeah, they've actually, I think from memory, they've got at least 2, and I think they've got 3 fixed-wing aircraft carriers that they do sail. I think they may be in transition. You can probably look that up, but it's just so remarkable to have the Italian Navy with an aircraft carrier at this exercise. It's the first time an aircraft carrier has participated in a pitch black. We've seen aircraft carriers at, you know, Talisman Sabre or Kangaroo or other exercises in this country for decades. Even our own aircraft carrier, the Melbourne, back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And it's just remarkable to have that presence here from the Italian Navy sailing through the region and working with our own forces here.
And the beauty about coming to the Northern Territory particularly is the nature of the terrain and how large our area is that they can train in, because a lot of these countries they don't have that space that they can do this sort of training.
We're using a military airspace that is larger than many of the countries. I think you know, the calculations on the back of the napkin were that the exercise airspace for pitch black is larger than the landmass of Great Britain. So to be able to get out there and you know, mission plan and coordinate across these large missions and not have to worry about, you know, whether or not you're going to fly over the wrong line on a map and fly into controlled airspace for an airport or somewhere else. A lot of the countries coming here really appreciate that. They would come here, I think, every year if they had the opportunity to, and they really appreciate coming to pitch black to train in that airspace, because they just can't do it back where they're from.
And very shortly we're going to see the Philippine Air Force joining us with the FA-50 Fighting Eagle. It's only moments away here at Mindil Beach.
Through the Philippines, I think on their way, excuse me, on their way, Peter, is that the case?
Yeah, that's the case. Just to let you know the interesting facts about the Fighting Eagle.
And online around Australia, watching at the moment, we've got James in Adelaide, we've got people in Perth, Newcastle, Sydney, Orange in New South Wales, Canberra, Tasmania, the Sunshine Coast, and of course Melbourne. So people from all around Australia joining us here today to see the spectacular display that we're seeing live here at Mindil Beach in Darwin, the Northern Territory of Australia. And of course, welcome to our international viewers as well, who are watching from all around the world to enjoy this.
It's pretty remarkable having Philippines here at the exercise for the very first time. Not only that, it is the first time they have deployed combat aircraft out of the Philippines. So in the history of the Air Force, pitch black is not only their debut at this exercise, it is their debut at any exercise of this kind. So certainly when they touched down last week in Darwin, it was really emotional to see them making the journey out here.
And to the right now coming through, you'll see the FA-50 Fighting Eagle from the Philippine Air Force. Now in the lead aircraft, you've got Lieutenant Colonel Mimu Rubina and Captain Whirlpool Salangoy. And the wingman is Captain Mantis Davila and Major Takuza Carbonell. And they are from the 7th Tactical Fighter Squadron, the 5th Fighter Wing. The Bulldogs roll the dice. Now, of course, this aircraft, the FA-50 Fighting Eagle, is operated by the Philippines, and it's a light fighter which resembles the F-16 but is considerably smaller. Developed in the late 90s, it first flew in 2002 and definitely capable of supersonic flight, and being small, it's very manoeuvrable. Other users include Thailand, South Korea, Poland, Malaysia and Indonesia, and it is the Philippine Air Force first time at Pitch Black 24 and the first time taking aircraft out of the Philippines.
So as mentioned before, it's seeing one up close. It really does feel like a little F-16. It's got a radar. It can deliver guided weapons, but it's also got a second seat in the back. So it's really useful for training as well. And it's fantastic to see them up here for the very first time.
It really is the place to be if you really love aircraft and a plane spotter or anything like that.
Yeah, look, short of going to the Philippines, you wouldn't see this anywhere else. At least not from the Philippines Air Force. And having met them and experienced their hospitality and friendliness, you know, I can't. I'm already looking forward to seeing them come back for Pitch Black 26.
And of course, Exercise Pitch Black is every 2 years, so we'll see it again after this finishes at the beginning of August in 2 years' time.
Yeah. Wongy, I have a question for you.
As they come in for their second pass.
You would express your distance apart in rotor width. How would you express that for a fixed-wing aircraft?
That's a good question, Bonk, so we're not allowed to go that. What can I call you? Nelly? That'll do.
No, go back to the normal one.
So Peter, yeah, quite often we will express our distance in relation to features on the aircraft. When they're flying formations, they're not actually measuring that out. There's no sort of areas that can give you that distance. When you're actually lining up, either deploying a rivet,
And we want to thank the team from the Philippine Air Force for joining us here with the Mindil Beach display today. The next aircraft that will be coming through in just a moment is something that's not unfamiliar to us, maybe a slightly different variant, but the Malaysian FA-50 model.
Now here's one for the viewers out there. The FA-50s are each powered by an F-404 engine, so with two FA-50s coming over us now. The Malaysian FA-18D is powered by two F-404 engines. So let's see if anyone can hear the difference as they come in through after the FA-50s.
So the prowess, for those that don't know, the RAF aerobatic team, we only have one ADS aerobatic team, and that's the RAF prowess. We have other aircraft.
Big shout out to anyone watching from the Philippines. We've got a massive following on Royal Australian Air Force social media from the Philippines. So if you are watching from the Philippines today, give us a shout out in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Flying them purely for the joy of you guys on the beach at Mindil and that sort of thing. But unfortunately, we're not here today. These are all the aircraft that are operating out of Pitch Black.
So all these aircraft are operational aircraft. So as I said before,
The Malaysian FA-18D will be coming through in just a moment, and as Hinksy mentioned before, not an unfamiliar aircraft to this exercise. The Malaysians were last here in 2018 and before that 2008, but obviously the FA-18D is very, very similar to our own classic Hornets that we retired in 2001. So I think people might have noticed the absence of the classic Hornet at 2022, and the Malaysians have come through. It's always fantastic to see the Malaysians when they come to this exercise.
And a good point of difference would be, you know, obviously seeing the legacy Hornets here coming through from the Royal Malaysian Air Force to what our Super Hornets are. They're quite different aircraft.
Yeah, in fact, from memory, the Malaysians got their FA-18Ds in the 90s, so a little while after we got our classic Hornets, and then a little while before we got our Super Hornets, about 2010 from memory, maybe a little bit earlier than that. So yeah, it's still a very capable airframe, especially for something that was originally designed in the 1970s. McDonnell Douglas and later Boeing continued to update it and upgrade it, and it's the Malaysians, I think, have got really good use out of it.
And the aircraft from the Royal Malaysian Air Force joining us are from Butterworth. Obviously, we still have a detachment in Butterworth.
That's right. There's still a RAF squadron. Someone in the comments, please shout out with the RAF base support squadron. That's up there because the number escapes me. But there are also a number of aircraft that go through there throughout the year. And we're also up in Butterworth fairly often with exercises as part of the FPDA for the Bersama series exercises, which usually happen twice a year.
Coming in from the right, we'll see the Royal Malaysian Air Force FA-18D Hornets. Now, the Hornet's operated by number 18 Squadron from Butterworth Air Base, just located in Penang, the island of Malaysia. This FA-18D, also known as the Legacy Hornet, is a versatile dual-seater multi-role combat aircraft. It's designed for training and operational purposes, both in air-to-air and air-to-ground, which excels through utilisation of its cutting-edge radar and weaponry. Now, the Hornet enhances Malaysia's defence capabilities, ensuring air superiority and effective response to threats. Its integration underscores the nation's commitment to maintaining a robust and modern air force. And it's great having them here and seeing them fly today in a nice little formation.
And if you're watching from home and you've got a browser open, jump on and Google Pikachu Hornet. The Malaysians have been kind enough to bring one of their anniversary aircraft this year. With the sun in the background, I can't quite see the markings on one of them, but if you have a look at Pikachu Hornet, you'll get a bit of an appreciation for what we've all been enjoying the sight of at Exercise Pitch Black this year.
We are down at Mindil Beach, Liz Travascus with you. There's still space on the beach, everyone, following my instructions earlier.
From our Malaysian friends to the French, only moments away from the Air and Space Force. And they're going to be bringing through a number of aircraft together.
So Pitch Black 24 marks 20 years since the French came to the exercise for the first time. In fact, they landed on Bastille Day 2004 with their Mirages and C-135 FR tanker. They participated in a couple more Pitch Blacks after that with their Casa from Noumea. And then for the last couple of Pitch Blacks have brought their Rafales and Pegasus MRTT tankers. So it's been fantastic seeing them come back to Pitch Black in a big way.
And Noah is watching in France right now, and he's, I'm sure, very excited to see the next lot of aircraft when they come through. We've also got Peter from Wagga, Anis in the Tiwi Islands, Judith in Sydney, and Loz and Jen in Adelaide watching. The Philippines, Davey's watching, and there are a lot of Pikachu fans in the comments, Eamon.
That's outstanding to hear. I'm sorry that we couldn't quite get the angle, but if you follow us on our social media channels for Royal Australian Air Force or Oz Air Force, we will try and catch them all, as they say.
And your question before about the RAAF squadron in Butterworth, 19 Squadron.
Yeah, look, I knew someone would have the answer in the comments.
That's the beauty of having a live stream like this, is we can ask those questions and we can get the answers straight away.
I often listen to podcasts and shout the answers at the speaker, and again, yep, you're right, Hinksy. The beauty of live streaming is we can get the answer right away.
We're going to see some pretty amazing aircraft coming up. You did mention the Rafale before, and we're about to see that. You can just see it in the distance coming in from the right. What we're going to be seeing is an A400, which is an amazing aircraft. Designed and manufactured by Airbus. It's a tactical airlift transport aircraft that has some strategic capability. In size, it kind of sits between C-130 Hercules and the C-17 Globemaster. It can be configured to transport cargo, military personnel. They can drop paratroops, conduct medical evacuations, or even carry out aerial refueling. Can operate out of short, soft landing strips and fly long-range cargo. A typical cargo load might include 6 Land Rovers and their trailers, or 2 light armoured vehicles, or even a dump truck and excavator, or a Patriot missile system, or a Puma or Cougar helicopters. They're pretty big, or even a truck or a 25-tonne trailer. And you'll see that coming through right now with a Rafale off each wingtip.
With 4 days to get here from France.
Yeah, actually 4 days with